Alright everyone, welcome back. I am your Ice Dragon Rayron VR, and I've got another news update coming from Digitrax. Now I know I'm definitely late to the game when it comes to this news, but again, I have been busy lately and finally been able to get a video out to you guys talking about what I am excited for next when it comes to Digitrax. Now you guys know that I am a big fan of Digitrax, and just recently they have announced some new products that I am definitely excited for. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at their newest products. And I'm going to go ahead and try to find it here real quick. And so we've got, this is probably the most important one that I'm excited for as of 1 June. So again, it has been a little bit since this news came out. They have two new devices. They've got the brand new DCS 240 Plus, which is a new command station. It is their most highly advanced command station, and as you can see here, you can see all the details. Supports up to 400 locomotives, onboard USB ports. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. And then the one that I am definitely excited for, one that I've been asking for a while now, this is the SE74, and this is the one that I'm pretty much hyped for the most. I'm definitely going to be grabbing it because this is going to work perfectly for what I'm trying to do with Digitrax. And this is the SE74 signal decoder. So it has the same kind of chassis that their newer models are going to, replaces their old SE8C, whatever they called it. But this is a lot better because it's easier to mount and it's just easier to handle. So we're going to go ahead and look at the instructions sheet here for the SE74 so we can get a better idea of what it does. So basically, every engine has, their DCC decoders. So what the SE74 does is that it's basically a DCC decoder for your track signals. So you can have up to, if I remember correctly, eight signals, if I remember correctly. But anyways, show you guys the schematics here. So you got your normal track power here. Now, this is where you connect, those ribbon cables. If you guys watched my part 1 of how far can we take Digitrax, this is that ribbon cable that I've been trying to experiment with the RJ50 cables. But right here, that's where the connector is going to be. We'll talk about this here in a minute because I'm a little bit concerned about it. I can't wait to experiment on this. But we'll go to these other connectors first. So you got your normal 10-pin header cable. This goes to a BD4, and then you've got your other turtle control machines and so forth. So what's cool about this is the SE74. This is actually kind of an all-in-one package that I really like because it can control turnouts. It can also control your signals. So what that means is that my little control table that I have in part 1 of my Digitrax series, I can use this and it's going to replace my my 74, my DC70, not DC, the S74, I think that's the name of it. I always get confused with these numbers, kind of get dyslexic a little bit. And it will also get rid of my old SE8C signal control board, and it puts it all into one little package here. So now I can control one turnout, and I can control up to multiple signals. So that is something I'm definitely going to grab and definitely I want to experiment with. Now, my biggest issue about this setup, so you can see right here with my mouse that these little inputs here, my biggest concern about this is that I think it's too close to the actual plastic of all the components of the chassis of this SE74 controller. So I can already tell that this is going to be kind of awkward to try to get the pins pushed in order to connect to the other signals. So that is something I'm going to be experimenting with, and I'm pretty sure that this is kind of a design flaw that I can already see, that it's just too close to the ones down here and too close to this plastic. And so I'm concerned that when I push the ribbon crimping connector together to the pins here, that it's going to bend these particular pins. So that's something I'm going to experiment with, and I'll let you guys know if that's actually going to become an issue. Over here, you got your 1R through 4G connector pins. This is what you connect to your tortoise switch machines, and that allows you to control them that way. And it's also got local net, which is why I love Digitrax, because local net is very powerful. It allows you to basically control everything via computer, and that's basically the end goal of how far my Digitrax I want to take it. Is I want full jammer control with signals, with turnouts, with locomotives. So that I cannot wait for. So I'm really happy that they finally announced this device, and we'll see. We'll see how far we can actually take it. And then some other programming things. You can program routes from your controller, your DT602 controllers. And yeah, really, really excited about that. So with that, we're going to take a look at the other, and that's 120 MSRP. I kind of cheat and go through Iron Plant Hobbies and use the discount that Humanity Junction. Shout out to him. Go subscribe to him. He's an awesome model railroader YouTuber, and you can get this really, really cheap. So, and then also announced the DS24 Plus. Now, I will admit that I haven't done too much digging into this, but all I can say is that, it's another command station. It's got a lot of bells and whistles. If you really want to get into a bigger layout, if you want to have a brains essentially for a model railroading club, then I would highly recommend going into the DS240, just because having up to 400 programmable locomotives, I cannot begin to tell you how convenient that is, because one thing about Digitrax that I have discovered is that every time you toggle a locomotive, again, I could be wrong about this, feel free to correct me in the comments, is that every time you call up an engine, that saves it as one selection of a locomotive, and then it just continues to tick up until you have slot max. And you always got to remember to clear that slots for these command centers. Otherwise, when you go to run your engines and you realize, oh, I have no control over your engines, then it's like, oh, what's going on? Oh, because it's slot max, you got to go through the motion of clearing it out, and it becomes a hassle from time to time. But yeah, so anyways, this is the latest and greatest when it comes to the command stations. It's, again, you got all the instructions here, and I would recommend it. Again, that's if you have the money. If not, then there's nothing wrong with going with the Cypher, which is what I'm going through. But yeah, that is the latest and greatest. So the DSC240 from Digitrax. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it. You guys can go ahead and look through it and so forth. But yeah, the big thing that I'm excited for is finally the announcement of the SE74 signal decoder. So with it, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Wing hugs to all of you.